This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Yeah, this
Just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Interesting conversations before we even start the show. Mortgage rates.
Nerd alert.
Full disclosure, Erica and Jeray were up here discussing hotel rates.
Oh, yeah.
And Tori chimes in about when she locked in on her mortgage.
Yeah.
And then the show started.
Yeah.
So now the audience is caught up.
And I'm supposed to do 3 push-ups if I interrupt a conversation I wasn't asked to be a part of.
You would
it
look
was-
like
it was
Schwarzenegger.
I know.
It was fine. We were talking Beyonce.
Yeah.
And you were talking where you.
Fiance.
Yes,
Right. Okay. I'll do the push-up later.
Please stay with us. We're going to get better. Okay, so with no end in sight for the writers and actors strike, some people are wondering how they can show their solidarity and if boycotting movies or canceling streaming services makes sense. So this weekend, Barbie's expected to draw big crowds to theaters. It could bring in as much as $140 million in just 3 days. So meantime, Oppenheimer, which is also opening this weekend, is projected to make $60 million at the box office. The event has even been dubbed Barbenheimer. With makeshift posters like this one going viral online. That actually is pretty funny.
It's
On the
very
streaming
funny.
side, Netflix added nearly 6 million subscribers since cracking down on password sharing, but neither the Writers or Actors Union have called for a specific boycott of either the streaming or the movies. I have a little theory, but I want to hear your guys' first.
I would think you should not boycott, only to help Hollywood and those people that trickle it down. There's the gaffers. I mean, there's all these people that need to have Hollywood survive in order for it to continue going. And this, unless they call for it and saying this is helping us somehow, I'm going to go see Barbie and Oppenheimer. I can't wait to see.
Why was your pitch up here?
I don't
was
know.
wondering that the
because
entire
I'll tell
time
you
she was
why.
talking.
I'll tell you why. I was nervous to say that in case I'm seeing as crossing the picket line. I don't think I am.
Oh, okay.
But I.
No, Hollywood's not calling for it,
Right.
so you're free to do whatever
I've been
you want.
looking forward to Barbie and this weekend, which is going to go on a roller coaster of emotions and go to both. And I haven't gone to the theater in forever, so I'm excited.
Well, I think the boycott, the question is really interesting, but I wonder if the boycott, Erica, will just happen naturally. If the strike continues, there'll be less and less new content. So unless you want to rewatch The Sopranos, isn't that a de facto boycott anyway if you stop watching Netflix? Because we all saw during the pandemic, sadly, there is an end to Netflix when you go, I think I've seen everything.
Yeah.
You have a crisis of your humanity at that moment.
I watched glass blowing.
Yeah. So maybe, the boycott might happen whether they wanted it to or not, just because there's no new content.
Yeah, I'm interested in hearing your conspiracy theory.
I have a conspiracy theory. I'm going to be wrong, but it's a conspiracy. Barbie did such a good job marketing, right? They spent a lot of money marketing, hoping that it's going to open huge. I think this kind of leaked out there in case it doesn't open huge. They might say, hey, a lot of people were striking because they're supporting the actors, so it really didn't open the way we thought it was gonna, and now they have an excuse.
It's a
for
back end, like a plan B exit.
Yeah, is that too much? Is that too deep? We'll know on Monday. I'm guessing I'm going to be wrong because I think it's going to open huge. But I think they did such a great job marketing. The hype is up here, and the demand really might not be there.
Yeah, I would say that'd be a good Hollywood strategy, but it would be shocking if this was a flop.
I agree.
Because
I agree
sometimes
with
they
you.
put
Not a
huge-
flop, but 140 million is a big weekend.
We have 40,000 people in Denver alone that already bought tickets. It's like sold out everywhere.
Stop saying that. That's not true.
Yeah, Tori somehow the other day said you can't find a ticket in Denver for the first 3 weeks of the show. It's opening everywhere. I found tickets for the first day at every single time.
Yeah, at 10
all
a.m.
the theaters.
I'm not going at 10 a.m. I don't want to go at 10
But
a.m.
see, that's what I'm talking about, the hype. Even you're making up stories and overhyping it. And it's not true. So that's what I wonder about how it's going to open. That's all. That's my conspiracy.
Yeah.
Whatever. We'll see.
I think it's going to do well, but I could see that. Especially if you spend a lot of money and it's like you're not getting a lot of response online, you might need to taper that off. Just like this statement.
Thanks. They go next story. I got it. We beat that one up. I got it. All right. Meantime, former Real Housewife of New York, Bethany Frankel, says reality stars should unionize and go on strike as well. Watch.
I got paid $7,250 for my first season of reality TV, and people are still watching those episodes. We've always been the losers, the I'm up here, you're down here to the actresses and actors. During the last writer's strike, we're providing all the entertainment, and that's when really the gold rush of reality TV started. So I myself have generated millions and millions of dollars in advertising and online impressions being on reality TV and have never made a single residual.
So Bethany said even though reality stars aren't actors, the shows they're on are highly produced and it's a, quote, rough and tumble job.
Jeff, you got to speak on this. You're the reality guy.
If someone came in my office and be like, man, this is a rough and tumble job, I'd be like, get out. I don't like that phrase. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. Here's the thing. Being on a reality show is kind of like winning the lotto in some sort of sense, right? If you don't want to be there, someone's going to be right behind you to take your place. There doesn't need to be a union for actors. We use the word reality stars very loosely. There are a few reality stars. Bethany Frankel, the guys from Jersey Shore, that's reality stars, right? Everyone who's on a reality show is not a reality star. They don't need to unionize by any means. She should be appreciative of the fact that she was on a show to springboard her and her wine company to another level. That's what she should be.
The exposure.
Not, I need more money out of this. You're lucky you won the lotto. The people who casted you on the show, that was their idea. They brought that to the network. They pitched it. They got the show aired. They reaped the benefits of that. Not the people they put on the show. Casting's a big process of it, but there's 100 me's out there. There's 100 everybody's out there. Casting is very specific, but there's somebody to take your place. Be appreciative of what you have, not what you don't have.
I think it's interesting anytime Bethany says something when it comes to business, because we do understand that she's very business savvy.
Yeah.
However, there is a Bethany clause in Bravo universe in terms of new reality stars coming on, or reality people coming on to sign their contracts, because she did such a great job at leveraging her platform in order to create a brand that she sold for over $100 million. And I understand her saying she worked really hard for that. Yes, absolutely, she worked really hard for that. I don't take anything away from that. But you had a major platform that you very smart and savvily utilized in order to promote your brand. That's the reason why her brand was as big as it was. Is it necessary to reinvent the wheel in terms of unionizing? And I am all for unions, unionizing for reality stars, or is it necessary to protect the carve-out that got her as famous and rich as she is?
No matter what, I agree with you both. However, I also agree that in any sort of labor, and I'm going to call a reality show, that was work for you. You got money, you got paid for that. Any sort of labor deserves to be organized in a union and deserves to be paid the way they feel they should. That includes garbage people, flight attendants, reality show people. Anybody working deserves in this country to be unionized to protect them. And if they're getting $7 grand, how much money?
Who's protecting us as hosts? Nobody. There's no union for hosts. We're not even in the SAG union. We have no protection.
I would think there
are unions, yes.
For hosting?
Yeah, there are unions that we can be a part of, yes. Yes.
All right, we'll talk about it in the break. Yeah. Coming up on DBL, our interview with the author of A Woman's Guide to Claiming Space. She's explaining why she thinks the new Barbie movie is a lesson in female empowerment. And Kim Kardashian is opening up about her past relationship with Pete Davidson. Find out what she regrets.
DBL, this show is amazing.
There's a lot going on down here.
I would have been part of the Mile High Club.
Yeah.
So on point. But I'm going to have a conversation about what's happening now.
So, what Jeff was talking about, so essentially, this is how some unions can operate. So I used to be, y'all are all SAG-AFTRA, right? So I used to be SAG-AFTRA. I stopped being SAG-AFTRA because when I was with this particular company for radio, which was CBS, in Chicago, we were a union station, so I was required to be union. When I moved to Denver, I asked if I should continue on. Of course, they want you to continue on.
What union were you in? What is it called?
SAG-AFTRA.
They protected radio?
Yeah, the R in AFTRA is radio.
All right, what about hosting? Is what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
So essentially what Jeff is talking about, like, we're under an umbrella where we work for an organization that is a news organization. So there are unions that you can actually be a part of. it comes under the umbrella of the company that you work for and also the state that you work in. We're in Colorado, which is very different than like a New York, a LA, Chicago, where having a union like a SAG-AFTRA, stuff like that is more common. In Colorado, it's not. So that's the reason why we're not.
Would we be part of?
IATSE at 70.
Why aren't we?
You can be. It's up to you
Right.
as an individual to do so.
But
So
can
like
you-
I've
See,
been
for instance, if we
Can you
came
be
here
an
and said it was
individual
like,
in a
we're
union?
Absolutely.
Like, you'll get-
organization, we
like
would
I
be
have the
required
ability to be in the union
in
even
the
though
union.
I'm like in hair and makeup.
Okay,
Like,
but why
on this
don't
side,
we get in a
because I do
union to
commercial
protect
projects as
ourselves?
well.
Because we're not a union company.
I just always think that
Like,
you have
it's
to have
not-
something to
it's
protect
not the
you.
union
What
umbrella.
about like The Talk, The View?
You could. I mean, you could. But there's.
We're not. She's right. We're not a union show.
But who
Right.
protects like the people on The Talk or The View? There's no hosting union.
Welcome back to DBL. Kim Kardashian says she might have jumped into a relationship with Pete Davidson a bit too fast. In the latest episode of The Kardashians, Kim said dating Pete got her mind off her split from Kanye, but said it's better to heal than feel. I can't stand rhyming quotes.
That's bad.
They dated for 9 months, and because she rhymed, they broke up.
That was it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think a lot of people do this, and you're going to get two schools of thought. After you break up, get back out there, and also, like, you know, take some time and reflect. But I always say, like, especially if you're the one that breaks up with the person, you've probably been reflecting for the last 6 months before you actually did the deed and broke up with them. So maybe you have been doing the internal work and you feel ready to get back out there. And I'm glad I did. I found somebody else pretty quickly afterwards. I mean, it's just the luck of the draw. But I don't know if, like, going into a state of mourning is the move either.
Here's the real issue, which I think has Kim and I in common, because you know how much I love Kim. We don't want to be alone. That's a
really honest thing to say.
Yeah, so
really
instead of saying, like, I rebounded because I was thinking of Kanye and all this, whatever, you just can't stand the silence of being alone. Now, Kim has rarely been alone. Literally, she's on camera all the time. She has relationships all the time. I bet it's really eerily quiet where she is without a partner. And for her, that's a brand problem and a whole other problem, but really comes down to the insecurity of living alone in your own space. I had to work very hard to be able to stand in my own space, even in a relationship. I just went from, you know, I was just a serial monogamous kind of person because hearing myself alone was the worst thing in the world. And I think that's what it comes down to.
Remember the episode of How I Met Your Mother where, is it Ted's, there's this girl that he's really into, played by Joanna Garcia, I think. And every time she breaks up with someone, it's like seconds later, he's trying to like get in to date her.
Right.
And she has a new boyfriend.
So quick.
Some people are just like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm a serial monogamous. When I got divorced and I met my husband, or my husband and I started dating, I left and went to another state because I wanted to, one, it was what was best for me at that time. Two, I really wanted to know, like, is this something that if I left right now, what would you do? And he was like, let's not do the long distance. I was like, I'm feeling the same way. And then 2 weeks later, he was in California. But yeah, I think that some people just attract relationships, and I'm a relationship person.
Me too.
But I also think it's important to be by yourself.
Right.
So if you can figure out a balance of both of those things, ultimately, I think that's the best way to go. But it is important to get your stuff out there so that you're not tracking that into your next relationship.
Exactly.
All right, we'll be right back.
Dermatologists and healthcare professionals have long touted sunscreen as an effective way to keep the sun's rays from causing skin damage that could ultimately become cancerous. But we've also heard concerns from people who are worried about the ingredients in the sunscreen itself. Does sunscreen contain cancer-causing ingredients? We turn to the sources listed here to verify. In one high-profile instance, yes, by accident. In 2021, several Johnson & Johnson sunscreen products were recalled after they were found to contain traces of the carcinogen benzene, which the manufacturer says is not a sunscreen ingredient. On store shelves, you'll see two main types of sunscreen, chemical and physical. American Academy of Dermatology Association defines a chemical sunscreen as one that absorbs the sun's rays using chemicals like oxybenzone, and a physical sunscreen is one that deflects the sun rays with minerals like titanium dioxide or zinc oxide. Much of the concern of sunscreen safety comes from research published in the last few years, finding the body can absorb ingredients in chemical sunscreen. Something applied topically can be found in the bloodstream days, even weeks later. Most chemical sunscreens include at least one of these common ingredients, according to the American Society of Clinical Oncology, that haven't been studied closely enough to be fully determined safe. The Environmental Working Group specifically recommends against using sunscreens containing oxybenzone, a potential hormone disruptor. However, Dr. Allison Larson explains the evidence supporting sunscreen's role in preventing cancer outweighs the known risk from absorbing chemicals.
If that's a concern, use a physical sunscreen. They simply stay as a layer outside the skin. And these are the sunscreens that used to be the very pasty white. It's totally different these days.
You can also minimize sun damage by wearing a hat and sun protective clothing and keeping out of the sun during the midday hours when its rays are strongest, and lathering on sunscreen is most important. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back to DBL. Eliza Van Coort is an author and motivational speaker who wants to make sure every woman feels empowered and takes up space. Earlier, we spoke to her about the controversy surrounding the new Barbie movie. Check it out and take up space. Please welcome Eliza Van Coort to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm really excited to be here.
Absolutely.
Eliza, we're excited to have you. I don't know if you were listening, but I'm sure you heard the wife of Representative Matt Gaetz called for a boycott over the Barbie movie for its disappointing feminine empowerment. This is so ridiculous. I'm sorry you have to live through this. And lack of faith in family. What do you think of this comment on a Barbie movie?
I find it to be so hilarious. I just don't even know what to do with myself. I mean, first of all, Barbie has never said she has any kind of faith at all. She was actually founded by a Jewish woman.
Amen.
I think they're talking about Christian faith. So, But secondly, I mean, Barbie is a single woman who's lived off and on unmarried with Ken, besides her other boyfriends, Blaine, Kevin, and Derek or something, for years. You know, she got a house when it was not even, women could not get a house without having a man co-sign a loan, but Barbie was like vibing as a single woman in her dream house. So like Barbie's always been about Barbie. Barbie hasn't been about faith and family. It's kind of like saying, why don't the Cabbage Patch Kids worry more about their careers? It just makes literally no sense.
I've often thought about the Cabbage Patch Kids that way. No,
lazy.
Why do you think the new Barbie movie will actually empower women?
Well, I mean, Barbie didn't start out with a great history, right? Barbie was a very thin slice of womanhood. Some women were like, I set my Barbie on fire. I hated Barbie.
That's what I did.
Other women said, you know, Barbie allowed me to dream and be whoever I wanted to be. And really, as Barbie has progressed, she's gone from a very thin, blonde, tall, blue-eyed white woman, which, you know, I never related to her. I could never be that, to all of these different skin tones and body shapes and races, and it's wonderful. So I think representation is so important. Seeing yourself, seeing what could be is so important. And I really do believe that when women like me go into the theater, we're going to be a little healed seeing that there are different kinds of Barbies now. And when younger women go in, they're going to look at all those Barbies, because there are 6 different Barbies in the movie, and they're all different, and say, oh, that could be me.
I want to ask you, what does empowerment mean to you?
Well, I think empowerment is twofold. First of all, empowerment has to involve uplifting other women, period. I mean, you can't make yourself bigger if you're making another human being smaller.
Say it again for the people in the back.
Amazing.
You know, you just can't. And secondly, it involves choice. It involves choice over your body, over your career, over who you love, over everything. And empowerment and choice, those are really the two things. And I think what's been really interesting about this whole Barbie journey for me is seeing how femininity now is being embraced, that people are saying, you know what, you can be as feminine as you want to be, you're still smart, you still have wisdom, you can be president. And I think for a long time, feminine meant kind of airheaded and not too smart. And so we're sort of reclaiming that femininity now as well.
First of all, shout out, you have this great book. You wrote a book about claiming your space. What led you to write this book?
It was a long road. My mother, when I was 4.5, became paranoid schizophrenic. And she kidnapped me 3 times. And one of the times we went across the country by truck, from truck stop to truck stop to truck stop, from New York to California. And what happened on that trip made me start to conflate invisibility with safety. I thought if I can just be small enough, then I'm going to be safe. And of course, being invisible isn't safe. It's deeply dangerous. In 2013, I was riding my bike and somebody was texting and driving and they hit me with their car. I lost my ability to communicate and I had to rebuild my communication brick by brick. And that process made me really have to observe human behavior. And what I saw was there was this one kind of woman who would walk in a room and be really empowered. And I wanted to know what that one thing was that she had that made her so powerful. And I realized, like in life, there's never one simple answer. There were really 5 things that made a woman empowered. And those 5 things formed the backbone of my book about claiming space, which is to live the life of your choosing unapologetically and bravely.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Thank you so much, Eliza. DBL Nation, pick up a copy of A Woman's Guide to Claiming Space. Stand tall, raise your voice, be heard. It is named Maria Shriver's Book of the Week through ElizaVanCourt.com or wherever books are sold. Thank you again, Eliza. You are hysterical and inspirational. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Aspartame is an artificial sweetener found in tons of food and beverages like chewing gum and diet soda. It's been around for decades, but now people are questioning if it's safe after a major health agency placed it on a list of cancer-causing agents. But others say there's more to the story and that the same list also contains pickled vegetables and aloe vera. So let's verify. Did the World Health Organization say aspartame is as likely to cause cancer as pickled vegetables? Our sources are the WHO as well as the FDA. The WHO actively reviews hundreds of substances for their cancer risk. They pick a substance, look at the existing scientific studies on it, and then place it in one of 4 groups. Group 1, sufficient evidence it causes cancer in people. 2A, probably carcinogenic, meaning there's limited evidence in humans, but sufficient evidence in animals that the substance is cancer-causing. 2B, possibly carcinogenic, which means limited evidence in both humans and animals. And group 3, not classifiable, meaning inadequate evidence the substance is carcinogenic in either humans or animals. The agency recently evaluated aspartame and assigned it to group 2B, possibly carcinogenic. Other substances in that category do in fact include aloe vera whole leaf extract and traditional Asian pickled vegetables. But they also include some pretty dangerous substances like lead and gasoline. So how can that be possible? Well, these categories aren't a ranking of how carcinogenic or dangerous a substance is. It's simply a grading of how scientifically confident the WHO is that the substance causes cancer at all. And in the case of aspartame, they aren't all that confident. In their announcement, they said there was, quote, limited evidence of aspartame causing cancer in people. And they kept their acceptable amount of daily consumption the same, 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. That equals about 16 cans of Diet Coke a day for a 175-pound person. So we can verify, yes, the World Health Organization says aspartame is as likely to cause cancer as pickled vegetables. The FDA affirmed this new classification isn't cause for alarm. In fact, it went so far as to say it disagreed with the decision, citing, quote, significant shortcomings in the research the WHO used. With your Verify, I'm Casey Decker.
As you try to get rich quick, be careful because scammers may be trying to get rich off of you. Let's verify. Are there lottery scams around large jackpots like the one in Powerball? Our sources are Mega Millions, Powerball, the Better Business Bureau, and the Federal Trade Commission. Scammers have a history of targeting people who play lottery games, including Mega Millions and Powerball. On its website, Mega Millions warns of one particular tactic, a phone call, text, or email informing that you've won and asking for either payment or your personal information to claim the prize. and you don't have to buy a ticket to be scammed. Mega Millions also warns scammers could claim to be past winners looking to share their money in exchange for information. Both Mega Millions and Powerball say they do not reach out to prize winners. The FTC and the Better Business Bureau say signs of a scam include being asked for personal information or to send money to pay fees or taxes on the prize. So, yes, there are lottery scams, particularly around large jackpots like Powerball. Our sources recommend contacting your state's Attorney General and the FTC if you think you've been scammed. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out.
Steph, I'm so glad you're back. What do you have for us today? So good to see you.
Hey, Tori. Hi, DBL Nation. It's been a minute, hasn't it? But I'm back and I'm ready to shop as ever. My favorite thing to do. Check out what I've got today. So first up, I've got the Aduro OmniHub Universal Charging Station. So this deal includes one charging station. We've got it available in 4 colors. We've got white, black, blue, and pink. So normally it's $80. We've got it for just $20.
Oh.
Now that is saving you guys 75%. Now next up we have got the 6-pack Fortessa shatter-resistant outdoor glasses.
Ooh.
So this deal will include 6 glasses available in 4 styles. So we've got red wine, white wine, iced tea, and tumblers.
Cute.
And these styles are available in the 2 colors. We've got gorgeous blue and bright yellow. So normally this is $72. But we've got this 6-pack for just $17.99, so that's saving 75%. Next up today, we've got the Flippo large and small battery storage case bundle. So this deal includes 1 small case, 1 large case, and 2 battery testers. So these cases are available in 3 colors: black, leopard, and grey. So normally this is $55.
Okay.
But we've got it for just $14.99, and that's saving up to 73%. Now, this is my favourite thing today because, as we all know, I love anything sparkly.
Sparkly.
And it's the Diamond Muse 1-carat TW Real Diamond XO bracelet. So this deal includes 1 diamond bracelet with a gift box. So the bracelet is available in white gold-plated and rose gold-plated over sterling silver.
Beautiful.
So normally they are $499, but we've got it for just $99. So that's saving up to 80%.
Ooh, head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or you can just scan that QR code right on screen. It will take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Steph, so good to see you back.
Tori, welcome back to Morning Save. Did you test out all those products?
I sure did. Most of the diamonds are at home now. Just kidding. No, but I do think the candles would look great with ambiance, so I think that's a good one I'm going to get to.
I like those candles.
Yeah.
I believe you got them.
Yeah.
Did get those.
Me and Al shamed you.
Literally caught her in the parking lot.
Just deal blast bags. We'll see you tomorrow.